she's hurt and can't play in the game. How much is that going to change things for you, or maybe your excitement as well?
I don't think it changed my excitement. Obviously, I'm bummed for Caitlin, but like I said, anytime you're an all-star and get the opportunity to play in a game, I mean, you just take advantage of that. But we talked about it this morning, and Caitlin was like, "Yeah, I'm on the sidelines. I'm coaching." I was like, "Coach C, okay, we're gonna see it." But I think it's honestly gonna be great. Caitlin does a great job of once again pouring into other people, regardless of her situation. And so for us, we're just gonna continue to do that and just have some fun.
Everyone is talking after Aliyah Boston revealed some shocking facts about Caitlin Clark. The All-Star One Center described how playing with Caitlin totally changed her game. She didn't hold anything back. Her teammates were taken aback. The media was taken aback. Furthermore, the commendation she offered was completely unheard of. Right now, this confession is going viral on the internet. However, please let me know in the comments before we begin this amazing worship session. Did you anticipate?
Oh, of course, you know it. Or it's okay. It's also, you don't have to do too much in an all-star game.
Exactly right. No defense.
Exactly.
Anticipate, Aliyah? Boston's changed this season. Or were you among those who demanded that well, it appears that someone has finally made the decision to be honest about what it's actually like to play with a talent across generations. In addition, it's past time someone gave Caitlin Clark the recognition she merits rather than the usual controversy and criticism. Aliyah Boston recently came out with such sincere and honest praise for Caitlin Clark that it likely unnerved.
Reflect on the beginning of the 2024 season. I had not been familiar with her. I didn't remember her from South Carolina. I didn't know much about Aliyah Boston. I saw her with the microphone in her hand working draft, saw her on the set a few times talking about basketball, etc. But I wasn't familiar with her game. But of course, I had heard that she was the first pick in 2024, that she was the Rookie of the Year. Then when the WNBA season started and Indiana was going through all kinds of stuff, I didn't recognize her as what I would say is a first-round pick or a Rookie of the Year. She seemed to be out of shape. She didn't seem to be ready. And so people were hard on her. I think she shut off her social media for a while. Very smart, Aliyah. Good for you. But then season began to kick in. The team began to get better. And especially the second half of the season, we got to see more of the team do
half the league, because rather than acting as though she accomplished it alone, this player is actually willing to acknowledge that playing with greatness improved her. Let's address the most pressing issue. When the 2024 season started, Aliyah Boston was receiving acutely destroyed by both the media and fans. People were accusing her of being lethargic, unprepared, out of shape, and generally raising doubts about her deservingness of being selected first overall from her draft class. The criticism was harsh, and to be honest, at the time, some of it was probably justified. The pace that Caitlin Clark brings to the game did appear to be too much for her. This is where things start to get interesting, though. Rather than offering justifications or shifting responsibility, Aliyah simply acknowledged the reality.
Always said Aliyah is a great playmaker. If you watch her game, you know how good she is with the ball in her hands. She brings the ball up full court. She passes. She finds people on cuts really well. I mean, like, she's making impressive passes on people cutting, getting open. I mean, they're not just point blank wide open passes. So, it's another weapon for us, and she's been incredible in that regard.
She stated rather bluntly that she had no idea what it would be like to play with someone who enjoys running and moving quickly up and down the court. She essentially acknowledged that she wasn't ready for the experience of Caitlin Clark. And it's likely the most sincere statement made by a WNBA player this season. Here's why this praise is so important, though. Aliyah wasn't merely being courteous when she spoke well of Caitlin. She provided particular instances of how playing with her fundamentally altered her strategy for the game and compelled her to improve every aspect of her performance and preparation. It was more than just compliments when Aliyah described how she had to totally
field goal percentage at 56.3%. Those aren't just good numbers. Those are all-star level numbers that directly correlate with her playing alongside Caitlin.
Aliyah, you just mentioned how being kind of the host, the all-star, how special that is for you. And obviously Caitlin Clark is still going to be around and be on the sidelines and stuff. But just for an
alter her mental preparation and conditioning in order to keep up with Caitlin's speed. That exemplifies what it's like to play with great talent. The majority of players would be too proud to acknowledge that they needed to completely alter their strategy. Additionally, the numbers provide the complete picture. With an average of 15.6 points, 7.6 rebounds, and 3.7 assists per game, Aliyah Boston leads the league in field goal percentage, 56.3%. Not only are those good numbers, her playing with Caitlin is directly related to those all-star level numbers. Let's discuss what this actually means, though. Aliyah essentially verified that everyone's eyes were working. Already know that Caitlin Clark improves everyone in her vicinity. And significantly, quantifiably, and statistically better, not just marginal.
Careers.
Conversations like with Caitlin as she deals with all this frustration.
Just continuing to be in her corner and cheering her on. I think the biggest thing, especially, as a player and a competitor, it's super hard when you have to sit out. And so for us, just making sure that she knows, listen, we got your back no matter what. And I think that's really all we can do, because as a player, you deal with stuff differently and you kind of just get through stuff differently. So, we're just doing our best job of just letting her know, listen, we got your back, take your time, but we got you.
We all know that there are other players in this league who would sooner choke on their own pride than acknowledge that playing with Caitlin benefited their careers. So it's big that Aliyah was willing to openly thank Caitlin for her metamorphosis. All of the athletes who have profited from the Caitlin Clark effect but choose not to accept it. Consider about how one player has brought the league as a whole more visibility, attention, and chances. Here is Aliyah Boston speaking the truth about it. She discussed how, in order to be deserving of playing on the same court as someone of Caitlin's caliber, she had to train, prepare, and think about the game differently. This league has been without that kind of integrity for far too long. Let's also be honest about Aliyah's personality prior to this season. People were disparaging her on social media, calling her anything from a bust to out of shape. The criticism was so severe that she even had to shut off her social media accounts. However, it seems that she spent the entire offseason getting ready to match Caitlin's intensity and pace, rather than pouting or making excuses. She entirely changed the way she played the game mentally, physically, and via conditioning. That's the role of champions. There is a stark difference between Aliyah's response to criticism and that of certain other players. She simply worked hard and let her performance speak for itself. Rather than complaining about unfair treatment or offering justifications, she is now featured on Slam magazine's cover. To commemorate her accomplishment, her teammates are creating personalized t-shirts. She is also acknowledged as one of the league's top centers. That is the result of accepting rather than hating the challenge of playing with greatness. What really sticks out about Aliyah's compliments about Caitlin, though, is this. It wasn't superficial or generic. She described in detail how Caitlin's play style and pace compelled her to change. She explained that none of them were prepared for Caitlin's level of play, which resulted in those early blunders and lost connections. You don't see that kind of basketball IQ and self-awareness very often. The majority of athletes would just state that their teammate is excellent and stop there. Aliyah truly explained how everyone else has stepped up their game in order to play with exceptional quality. She also discussed how having a floor general who sees the game 3 steps ahead of everyone else means that she had to learn to anticipate Caitlin's passes and prepare for the fast-paced style of play. It's more than just praise. It's a scouting report on what you need to do to reach your full potential. Additionally, the timing of this compliment is ideal, as it follows months of speculation about Aliyah's ability to play with a player of Caitlin's skill. The eye exam and the stats, however, both attest to the fact that she is not only able to manage it, but is flourishing as a result. It's hilarious how Aliyah's metamorphosis totally silenced the naysayers who wanted to exchange her for the Fever. Like milk in the desert sun, all those scathing comments about how she was impeding the team's progress faded. She now leads the league in field goal percentage and is an all-star. Aliyah's description of the need to get ready for Caitlin's sprint style of play highlights how unique Caitlin is from other point guards in the league. The majority of athletes discuss adapting to teammates. Aliyah discussed the necessity of radically altering her basketball strategy. Let's also discuss the aspect of respect. Aliyah may have simply claimed credit for her own development and stopped there. Rather, she made it clear that one of the main reasons she was successful was because she played with Caitlin. This type of loyalty among teammates is what creates cultures of championship. Her teammates' surprise gift of personalized t-shirts featuring the covers of Slam magazines demonstrates how much they value her candor and development. Her success and her admiration for Caitlin don't pose a threat to them. They know it improves the team as a whole, which is why they are celebrating it. By the way, this is what a positive team dynamic looks like. Players like Aliyah are eager to recognize how their teammates assist them grow better rather than everyone vying for individual recognition. You can create something sustainable in this way. There is a noticeable difference in how other teams manage their best players. The players on the Fever are really thrilled about one another's accomplishments and are prepared to give credit where credit is due. In contrast to other teams who are struggling with turmoil and ego disputes, the amount of effort Aliyah put in during the offseason is further demonstrated by her remarks that she is ready and prepared for this season. She didn't simply arrive with the expectation that things would change. She especially readied herself for the task of playing with Caitlin. What distinguishes great players from good ones is their degree of preparation and intentionality. Aliyah made sure she was deserving of the chance to perform with a generational skill after realizing she had one, although the statistical improvement is self-evident. Aliyah's discussion of her development demonstrates that this goes beyond simply having better numbers. For the remainder of her career, she will benefit from the fundamental shift in her approach to the game. Aliyah's ability to change herself in spite of all the criticism and pressure from the outside is truly amazing. She had the option to become defensive or offer justifications, but instead she silently worked hard and disproved everyone. Her efficiency has increased to the point that she now leads the league in field goal percent, while playing with a player who requires a lot of defensive attention. The two are not coincidental. Playing with someone who gives everyone better possibilities leads to that outcome. Aliyah's admission that she first didn't understand Caitlin Clark is arguably the most candid evaluation of the Caitlin Clark experience we've heard from a player. The majority of people would be too proud to acknowledge that they weren't prepared for that kind of play. However, her praise is so credible because of her honesty. She is not merely complimenting her teammate. She provides a thorough explanation of how playing basketball with top talent completely altered her perspective on the game. She demonstrated how much basketball IQ is needed to maximize playing with someone of that caliber by describing how she had to adapt to Caitlin's passing and pace. Being talented is insufficient. Must possess the intelligence to change and grow. This is most likely the cause of some players' difficulties when traded to teams with top-tier point guards. They're not equipped for the mental and physical difficulties that come with playing at that pace and with that level of precision. Aliyah's change also serves as a reminder of the league's likely enormous unrealized potential. How many players' skills could be significantly enhanced if they were paired with someone who expects perfection and provides better opportunities? She went from being questioned and criticized to being featured on magazine covers and topping the league in shooting percent, demonstrating what can happen when you rise to the challenge of playing at a high level rather than letting it scare you. Her colleagues' response to her smash cover demonstrates their admiration for her path and her candor regarding the difficulties she faced along the way. The kind of culture that draws and nurtures talent is produced by that kind of encouragement and celebration. The fact that Aliyah talked about making sure she was ready for this season after experiencing what it was like to play alongside Caitlin is quite telling. That demonstrates a remarkable level of self-awareness and dedication to progress. The majority of players would simply point the finger onto the system or offer explanations for why things didn't work at first. Aliyah assumed accountability for her own readiness and made the required adjustments to achieve the best possible outcome. The maturity and basketball IQ you want for players at the championship level are demonstrated by the way she acknowledged Caitlin for encouraging her to get better while simultaneously taking responsibility for her own development. The extent to which Caitlin's participation has improved the league as a whole was also unintentionally brought to light during this praising session. If one player can transform this dramatically just from playing alongside her, imagine the ripple effects throughout the whole WNBA. In the course of one season, Aliyah went from having the possibility to be traded to being named an All-Star and leading the league in field goal percentage, demonstrating the profound effect that a good teammate can have on your professional path. Her readiness to publicly acknowledge Caitlin and give her credit for this change is an example of the kind of integrity and leadership that fosters long-term success. That's how you establish a culture in which people strive to improve one another. It's also ideal that this accolade was given immediately following the All-Star Game. It's when everyone in the basketball world is watching, to ensure that everyone understands how much playing with Caitlin has improved her game. Aliyah picked the largest stage. Caitlin Clark has long deserved this kind of recognition, but it is uncommon for other league players to give it to her. The majority of them are too preoccupied with protecting their own pride to acknowledge how much better she makes everyone around her. However, Aliyah Boston simply established the norm for how teammates ought to discuss one another. She offered sincere, targeted praise that genuinely meant something, as opposed to tactful dismissals or diplomatic non-answers. The fact that this praise is receiving so much attention further demonstrates how uncommon it is for players to give credit in such an open and sincere manner. This is most likely due to the fact that most athletes lack the self-confidence to recognize the extent to which their teammates support them. Every player in the league who believes they are too good to pick up tips from their colleagues or modify their skills to play with top players should be obliged to watch Aliyah's metamorphosis and her candidness about it. Aliyah Boston's compliment of Caitlin Clark was flawless, and she demonstrated to everyone how true teammates help one another. This is how you recognize greatness, when you see it and create a championship culture. How did you feel about Aliyah's candor regarding her change? Leave your comments below. For more authentic WNBA content, hit the like button and subscribe.